as I mentioned, with that insanity, they drive them slowly into a precipice. It's a procedure that's how it's done. Okay, so now mass killings. Now we go to other phenomena, so-called mass killings, which I have just mentioned to you, but to which we witness, and I cannot bypass that, so I will mention to you the mass killings to which we witness and have never ever taken place before in the history of humankind, in forms like school massacres, etc. Now we even have kids performing these mass killings, something completely unnatural, something that have never happened in the history of humankind. Killings at home and massive rampages in public. Well, killings at home are another extreme, as now we have dads killing moms and children, which is completely you can only imagine the pain that these people face when committing themselves to such a crime. And you can only also ask yourself, what is the value of life when it comes to that? What is a real value of one life when it comes to things like mass killings? It is actually the price. It is actually what I would say, as this never ever happened in the history, this phenomena is what I would say, the mass killings are actually the real mirror of today's governments, or what is New World Order government. If can be recognized, the New World Order, more than about anything else about this mass killings. The mass killings are the best description of New World Order. Anyhow, suicidal rates. Suicidal rates are enormously manipulated by the government. You know, just like my Parkinson's disease, which is non-existing, the governments tend to also manipulate what are suicidal rates. They find all kinds of lies, all kinds of ways to actually lower those statistics and lie about as much as they can. The massive suicide rates, unprecedented and a record high, while enormously manipulated per statistics due to governmental hiding of the truths, which of course would never be possible without international human rights organizations such as Amnesty International or United Nations. You have to understand that governments are to some extent observed, and they're not, but they should be inspected, and therefore reported about real statistics by the human rights organizations such as Amnesty International and United Nations. However, when these two organizations, which are main organizations worldwide, are so corrupt and so biased, it is something that is completely impossible to expect basically from these two organizations. It is impossible to expect. We live in the world that is corrupt and so on. Anyways, divorce rates, obesities, depression, perversions, pedophilia, homosexualism, interracial marriages, foreigner settlements among us, violence. You see, it is insanity. Every day one is growing and more. The situation isn't getting any better. It is only worsening. Why? How come? Have you ever heard about so-called autosuggestions, which most often employers are referring to us as per what is, for instance, just as an example, positive or negative. Yes. We even see this words about positive and negative on TV commercials. and everywhere else? Well, it is frequently thrown in people's heads everywhere and on every step. It is about positive and negative. It is, folks, just one more proof of driving people insane. It means to distract people from truth or reality and pull them for their noses till they drop dead. Because creating issue of positive and negative is like questioning, and whenever you are questioning, you are already suggesting something. And questioning positive and negative is like literally driving people nuts, is driving people insane. You are actually having people already in such a you know, I don't know how would you say that, but in such a situation, in such a position, that you are already literally asking them about what is positive and negative. Something that even you know, 3-year-old baby or 4 or 5-year-old baby or just a worm knows what is positive or what is negative. And what that is simply is it means to distract people from the truth or reality and pull them for their nose until they drop dead, as I mentioned. Positive is whatever that's good for you or whatever will guide you toward accomplishments which you have in your mind. And negative is simply whatever will distract you from accomplishing desired goal or prevent you on your way from accomplishing one. In other words, an obstacle is negative. Let's say a government that keeps you away from normal life, either or whether it is buying home, having kids, getting jobs as planned. Impossible to count issues. Those are really negative and destructive manners. They are attitudes. How about reality? Did employers ever ask you about your opinion? Did they? Opinion about reality? It's also often present at employment sites, in the workplaces. Well, reality, a word for which you hear everywhere as well. Reality, reality, reality. Reality is something to what your employers, the government, is trying to push like it is something negative. Yes, something negative. But it's not negative, folks. It's most definitely always positive. That is when truly is reality now. Because if one is not realistic about her expectations with him or herself, what happens to that person? He is simply insane. Depending on the level. However, once the person is not realistic about her expectations, he is simply insane. Allowing to be driven insane, allowing to be driven insane, that means every time when you say yes, 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 it means the same thing, insanity. Maybe perhaps you should change your attitudes, people, and instead of saying yes, 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 you should start saying no, 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 no. And after you say no, you should actually start questioning yourself if it's not perhaps yes. Because in the world of lies,